In the summer of 1940, Britain stood alone. France had fallen to Hitler's armies in just 6 weeks. The Low Countries were under Nazi occupation. Across the English Channel, German troops prepared for what Hitler hoped would be the final blow, an invasion of the British Isles. But before German soldiers could set foot on British soil, control of the skies had to be won. What followed would be one of the most decisive air battles in history, the Battle of Britain. Germany's plan was straightforward in theory, but daunting in execution. Operation Sea Lion, the coded name for the invasion of Britain, depended entirely on the Luftwaffe's ability to destroy the Royal Air Force. Without air superiority, German ships and barges attempting to cross the Channel would be easy prey for British naval power. Hitler ordered Hermann Göring, head of the Luftwaffe, to crush the RAF quickly and clear the skies. The odds seemed overwhelming. The Luftwaffe could deploy nearly 3,000 aircraft, including the feared Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighters and squadrons of bombers, like the Heinkel He-111, Dornier Do-17, and Junkers Ru-87 Stuka. The RAF, by contrast, had fewer than 2,000 aircraft, many of them outdated. Britain's defense rested largely on 2 fighters, the elegant Supermarine Spitfire and the rugged Hawker Hurricane. Both would soon become legendary. The battle began in July 1940 with German attacks on shipping in the Channel and raids on coastal defenses. These early clashes tested the RAF's responses. While the Luftwaffe probed for weaknesses, British pilots, many barely out of training, were thrown into action against seasoned German crews. What they lacked in numbers, they made up for in courage and a revolutionary advantage: radar. Britain's chain of radar stations, known as the Dowding system, after RAF Commander Hugh Dowding, provided early warning of incoming raids. For the first time in history, a nation could track enemy aircraft long before they arrived, guiding fighters directly to their targets. By August, the Luftwaffe shifted to its main assault. Waves of German bombers crossed the Channel daily, escorted by fighters. Their targets were airfields, radar stations, and aircraft factories. Anything that could cripple the RAF. Dogfights raged across the skies of southern England. The pace was relentless. British pilots flew multiple sorties a day, often returning to base with bullet holes in their wings, only to take off again as soon as their planes were patched up and refueled. Many never returned. Losses mounted on both sides. Despite the pressure, the RAF held firm. Hurricanes, though slower than the sleek Spitfire, accounted for most of the kills. Tearing through bomber formations, the Spitfires engaged the Messerschmitts, matching them in agility and speed. Ground crews, working with astonishing speed, kept damaged aircraft flying. The whole nation was mobilized to support the fight. By early September, the Luftwaffe had failed to destroy the RAF. Frustrated, Hitler and Göring changed strategy. Instead of continuing to pound airfields, the Luftwaffe turned its sights on London and other major cities. On September 7, 1940, the Blitz began. Massive bombing raids struck the capital, killing thousands of civilians and reducing whole neighborhoods to rubble. Göring believed this would break British morale and force the government to surrender. Instead, it steeled the resolve of the population. Londoners took shelter in underground stations, emerging after nights of bombing to carry on with daily life. The shift in German strategy proved a fatal mistake. By easing pressure on the RAF's airfields, the Luftwaffe gave Britain's squadrons time to recover and regroup. On September 15th, what would later be remembered as Battle of Britain Day, the Luftwaffe launched its largest daylight raid. Hundreds of German bombers and fighters streamed across the Channel. The RAF scrambled every available aircraft. From the ground, Londoners watched as dogfights unfolded overhead. By the end of the day, the Luftwaffe had suffered catastrophic losses. It was clear the RAF was far from defeated. In October, Hitler postponed Operation Sea Lion indefinitely. The Luftwaffe continued night bombing raids. But the dream of invasion was over. Britain had survived. It was the first major defeat of Hitler's war machine, and it carried enormous consequences. By holding out, Britain denied Germany control of Western Europe and ensured that the war would continue. Winston Churchill famously summed it up: "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." The few, as they came to be known, were the young RAF pilots who fought with extraordinary bravery against overwhelming odds. The Battle of Britain was not just a military struggle, it was a symbol of resistance. It proved that Hitler could be stopped. It gave hope to occupied Europe and bought vital time for the Allies. In the years that followed, Britain would become the staging ground for the liberation of Europe. But it all began with that desperate summer of 1940, when a small island nation stood alone and defied the might of Nazi Germany in the skies above southern England. The Battle of Britain remains one of the defining moments of the Second World War, a story of innovation, sacrifice, and determination. Against the backdrop of fire and smoke, the outcome of the entire conflict was shaped. Without victory in the skies, the world might look very different today.